Howdy everybody, how y'all doing? And welcome to a new segment that I want to call Breaking the Ice with yours truly, Punkwaddle the Penguin. And I got to thinking, really, the reason I want to do this is because, well, Monday mornings are a bit rough anyway, and so why not break the ice with me and, rip off the Band-Aid could also be a good analogy, but I'm gonna stick with my motifs that kind of work here, right? Anyway, so today I want to talk to you about, well, it's not necessarily news that the whole internet is kind of a how would you say, a diary of collectively shared experiences, right? And I mean that in the way that, well, it kind of seems like the life on the internet is because it's so intertwined and interconnected that everybody is, well, trying to have a similar shared experience or relate to other people's experiences, which creates a chain reaction of similarly shared experiences and reactions and thoughts and responses, sort of in this collective stream of consciousness, right? And I mean, and it's kind of created a life of its own, disconnected from the real world. I mean, in a lot of ways. I know we've talked about the dopamine hits and the likes and all that stuff, right? We'll get to that in a minute. But I don't necessarily mean that this collectively shared diary is a positive thing, because, like I said, the whole one-up and trying to, I don't know, exist in a different space, right? And the disconnect is, well, it's pretty evident. Like I said, I don't necessarily mean this in a positive way, because you might recall, it's kind of like how a few years ago, more like a decade ago now, that we had people who were playing World of Warcraft and games like Second Life, and well, they were kind of mocked and made fun of for, creating an alternate persona, right, online, where it wasn't just message boards, it was living in this MMO sort of, environment, and creating this alternate, well, dimension where they exist in, where they can ignore the real world, right? It got so bad and so meta, if you will, part of pop culture at that point, that we had that movie, I don't know if you remember, with Gerard Butler, where it was actually kind of a thing like Second Life, where I don't know if I'm mixing up the movies, but I know that where you could actually play real people as avatars, so, the world's so broke that they're allowing somebody else to control their body in a separate world and clock in to be controlled by somebody else for their time, right? And get paid through internet service while somebody else sits at home and plays the game like an avatar, right? And I think that was the same movie where Gerard Butler is trying to get out of prison by kind of like a death race sort of thing, where he gets controlled by a gamer and they play some looter shooter type hero game sort of thing. Anyway, you know what? P.S. What happened to that guy? He was in a lot of movies back then. He's kind of disappeared. I digress, And the point I'm trying to make is that we have this, as I said, a collective experience journal where it really is all about reactionary comments and trying to one-up somebody else, or, well, somebody has a viral video, then everybody wants to mimic that instead of being, finding their own way to add a voice and be creative. Like, there's all this talk about, let's stop critiquing everything and create new stuff, and let's let's do real things and move forward. But the internet is designed, and the algorithms reward just the, well, kind of like the degradation of each Xerox version, right? Over and over till it's slowly just dribbled. And this whole sort of thing of trying to one-up each other, right, and have this collective shared experience and try to outdo somebody else, well, that's the competitive nature of human beings is obviously evident throughout the ages. But it also got to a point where, and I know you guys a lot have heard of this by now, but a lot of the Instagram, social influencer type things, or social influencers, were basically being told, you're too amateur and you're going to the exotic places to take pictures, but you're doing it in a way that is risking your own life, and people actually hurt themselves, and some indefinitely, because they were chasing after this living your best life meta, right? And this idea that, well, you gotta show the world how awesome you are. And once again, it's, putting yourself in harm's way to pretend like life is awesome. That kind of goes back to the whole living a second life online that's disconnected from the real world. You know what I mean? But I mean, what else I don't get, I find interesting, is it used to be living your best life, the summer of love, everything was awesome, everything was amazing, we all got to get along. And now, and I know you've seen the videos, and I know some friends like Snow Dub and Jolly and a bunch of other people out there have done some of the reactions to the new meta, right? All these meltdown videos, and it feels like, once again, this collectively experienced journal or diary that the internet is, instead of trying to live our best life, it's trying to prove how you can show off how badly you can melt down worse than somebody else. And it's, once again, this weird sort of trying to one-up each other. And it kind of begs a question, is life really that bad outside of the internet? I know that groceries are still expensive, but interacting with real people in real time, and not knowing their political affiliation, but just interacting with another human being, is it really that awful all the time? I mean, do we still have some compassion and kindness, right? And like I said, I think there's a lot to be said about the disconnect between the online world and the real world. But if you were to follow everything that's going online right now, you probably think that the internet was burning down and melting down. Because, I mean, kind of feels like it is. But I think that's just the meta right now. So, I don't think the world outside is melting. I mean, I know it's starting to warm up a little bit. We're starting to get that spring thaw soon enough, depending on what part of the country you're in. But I don't think anything's quite melting down yet. It's just a little bit uncomfortable. And some people are in the hot seat because of, well, what goes around comes around once in a while. That's all I gotta say about that. So, hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. And, well, we've done broken the ice, so hope you guys have a good week. We'll see you around. Bye!